Somadoda, a very good morning to you. And yes, what we're hearing this morning is the headache begins now, the real work begins now for Cyril Ramaphosa and his team, trimming down the cabinet and also sorting out the tussles within his own party. How do you see the president navigating this over the next couple of weeks?
Well, I do think that it's going to be a very tricky and a very difficult one within the party itself. But he has made this promise in the Siyanqoba rally. He has made this promise after the elections. So he's expected to live up to it, where members who were not effective in working and members who are blamed for corruption will have to be put aside. Of course, that will not be without a fight, because some will interpret it as purging, irrespective of the fact that there is an overwhelming evidence coming in the direction of some of the members. He has to balance the internal party needs and the national expectations.
Are we likely to see Cyril Ramaphosa wait for the outcomes of the various inquiries, the commissions that we are seeing at the moment, or are we likely to see that he is going to jump the gun and make some decisions before the outcomes of those commissions?
In some cases where you have had repeated accusations and damning evidence against certain ministers, you will know that it will be too risky to wait for the outcomes of the commission, but rather put the people aside, rather than wait for a very long legal process, because even after the commission, some of these may be referred to the NPA, and you may have years of legal challenges, so he may preempt that process.
And, I mean, all the talk this morning, Somadoda, is about who will be the deputy president. We are seeing headlines. Will it be the likes of Lindiwe Sisulu? Will it be Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma? What will happen to David Mabuza? And what is likely to be the fallout from that? Because the divisions within the ANC continue to show, even at the announcement of results. We're seeing reports of, Ace Magashule and Fikile Mbalula having sort of a war of words, taking digs at each other. Are those likely to emerge even more now with the President Cyril Ramaphosa having to clean house, like we say, and also make even more people on the other side of the ANC unhappy with him, those who were not behind him in the first place?
I do think that those will start playing out in the National Executive Committee meeting today as to who prevails and who assert himself or herself is going to be very important. And on the issue of the deputy president, I think it depends on how it is presented, because one of the things, they could persuade David Mabuza, they could persuade some of the ministers like Jeff Kadebe, who have been there since 1994, and several others, to say, we want you to go back and build the ANC in Luthuli House. In that way, neutralizing what seemed to be Ace Magashule, who seemed to work almost outside sometimes of the party line and the party disciplines. And they may do the same with the Women's League, the Youth League, when they persuade some of the people to say, let's go build, prepare for the next coming years, instead of everybody being in the cabinet. They might extend that to the alliance partners, because you had a disproportionate number of South African Communist Party members in cabinet. Same with SANCO, same with the Youth League and so forth.
Well, and also, I mean, he's got to give very little reason for opposition parties to point fingers in Parliament. And if we look at the EFF and that massive number of seats that it's managed to gain, which is 19, it's nothing to be laughed at. Even Freedom Front Plus gaining more seats, he's going to have a show of force in Parliament that's going to leave very little room for finger pointing and criticism. It's going to make for very interesting days in Parliament.
Without any doubt, if ANC, even with its majority, is sending the people who are not effective, even in the committee works, then the opposition will walk over them. Because there, it's not the quantity, but it's the quality of what people present. Do they prepare? Are they not always absent? Are they not always sick? Do they have effective argument? If they can't, then you start seeing the committee work making submissions which are not necessarily in line with the ANC, because our experience is that as the quality was declining over the years, you could have an ANC in any given committee having a majority of 3 or 4 people, but the substantive contributions were little less than those of opposition in some of the committees, because some had relied on the majority without working as hard as they should. So they have to choose carefully.
And very quickly for us, Somadoda, just to end, do you believe, I mean, Cyril Ramaphosa saying the weekend we've learned from our mistakes, do you believe that they have learned from their mistakes and we will see that he will reflect that?
I do think that they have learned from the mistakes, but they are now in the horns of political dilemma. It will take courage, daringness, and audaciousness to say, do or die, swim or sink, because this is the moment, and if they fail to seize this moment, then ANC is doomed.
All right, thanks very much for that. Just some more insight. Post-election political analyst Somadoda Fikeni.